Hello and welcome to this edition of Express News. I'm Rukma. Express News is your window to the top news stories making headlines across India and the world that we're tracking. Well, India's lunar craft Chandrayaan-2 to make historic landing on the moon's surface in the early hours of Saturday. Scientists at the Satellite Control Center of ISRO Telemetry Tracking and Command Network ISTRAC in Bangalore are busy with the preparations for the historic landing moment on the moon. Presently, the lander Vikram of Chandrayaan-2 is encircling the moon in a very low orbit. ISRO has said it will be subjected to a powered descent towards the lunar terrain. In between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., expected to lead the probe to touch down on the floor in between 1:30 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. Currently, the lander Vikram of Chandrayaan-2 is encircling the moon in a very low orbit. ISRO has said it will be subjected to a powered descent towards the lunar terrain in between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. and is expected to lead the probe to touch down on the floor in between 1:30 a.m. and 2:30 a.m. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting the ISRO headquarters at Bangalore to witness the final descent of Chandrayaan-2 onto the lunar South Pole. He will also be interacting with winners of the space quiz conducted for students of class 8th to 10th across India during the event. G. Vaishnavi, class 9 student from Raichur district, is one of the two children chosen from Karnataka to witness the soft landing of the lunar mission with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. She and 60 other students from across India will watch the event at ISRO headquarters in Bangalore. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Mumbai on September 7th to participate in a number of programs. PM will perform Bhumi Pujan of 3 metro routes, which are Gaimokh Thane to Shivaji Chowk, Mira Road. Total length of this route is 11 kilometers. Another route is Wadala to GPA. President Ramnath Kovind confers awards for outstanding contribution to the journey of Swachh Bharat mission in various categories during the Swachhta Mahotsav in New Delhi. Addressing the gathering, President Kovind says India will achieve the Sustainable Development Goals set by United Nations 11 years before the set deadline. President also says aim is to achieve a clean and open defecation-free India this year as fitting tribute to Mahatma Gandhi on his 150th birth anniversary. On the occasion, Union Minister for Jal Shakti Gajendra Singh Shekhawat presents first copy of the book Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen Communication Strategies for Behavioral Change at Scale to the President. Supreme Court refuses to release 10 crore rupees deposited by Karti Chidambaram with Apex Courts registry for travelling abroad. Bench headed by Justice Deepak Gupta says amount will continue to remain in fixed deposit for another 3 months. Union Minister of Women and Child Development Smriti Irani addresses function to felicitate good performing states and districts under Beti Bachao Beti Padhao program. Haryana was first, Uttarakhand second, Delhi third, while Rajasthan received the fourth award. Former Union Minister Arif Mohammed Khan sworn in as Kerala Governor at Raj Bhavan in Thiruvananthapuram. Kerala High Court Chief Justice Rishikesh Roy administers oath of office to Khan, who was appointed as the 22nd Governor of the state on September 1st. Vice President releases 2 books, Loktantra Ke Swar Khand 2 and The Republican Ethic Volume 2 in New Delhi. Republican Ethic contains compilation of 95 speeches delivered by President Ramnath Kovind during his second year in office. Union Ministers Prakash Javadekar and Thawar Chand Gehlot also graced the occasion, being the guests of honor. The Vice President releasing the book congratulates the President, says the book contains President's vision, also lays down certain challenges awaited by India to become a successful and potential nation. While sharing his thoughts on the Indian philosophy to view world as one, also says India never attacked first any country, and being a Vishwa Guru, it always considered the world as one family. Then why should one quarrel? Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh says peaceful security situation must remain in the Indo-Pacific region, adds that strengthened cooperative engagements remain cornerstone of India's outlook for the Indo-Pacific region. BSE Sensex ends with marginal loss. At close, Sensex was down 80.32 points at 36,644.42. Nifty was up 3.20 points at 10,847.90. About 1,433 shares have advanced, 990 shares declined, and 133 shares are unchanged. Indian rupee appreciates 16 paise intraday to trade at 71.68 per US dollar. Global oil benchmark Brent crude trading flat at $60.94 per barrel intraday. Gold prices fell by 372 rupees to rupees 39,278 per 10 grams in the national capital on Friday due to weak demand and strong rupee, according to HDFC Securities. Silver prices fell by 592 rupees to 48,866 rupees per kg in futures trade on Friday amid profit booking by participants on existing prices. Jet Airways founder Naresh Goyal being questioned by ED in case of alleged contravention of foreign exchange law. This is the first time that the central agency is grilling him after it conducted searches against him last year. Board of Punjab National Bank gives in-principle approval for amalgamation with Oriental Bank of Commerce and United Bank of India. Board also approves capital infusion of up to 18,000 crore rupees by government for preferential allotment of equity shares of the bank at a price determined as per SEBI regulations. State-run engineering firm Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited bags order worth 450 crore rupees for supply and installation of emission control equipment for a Bhilai expansion power project in Chhattisgarh. Country's largest car maker, Maruti Suzuki India, asked component makers to start manufacturing vehicle electronics and certain key parts in India in order to cut imports of such articles. Local manufacturing of such parts would not only help Maruti but also support government's Make in India initiative. Food regulators set to make hygiene ratings mandatory for all restaurants along with presence of a food supervisor to monitor compliance of food regulation and ensure safety of food served. Amazon is entering offline retailing in India to create an integrated shopping experience for consumers across e-commerce and brick-and-mortar stores as part of strategy to take on Reliance and Walmart-owned Flipkart, which are planning a similar push in the country. In a much-awaited announcement, Jio's fiber-to-home service launched across 1,600 cities in India, which aims to provide people with an integrated experience of broadband, on-demand entertainment, voice and video calling, conferencing, gaming and home solutions. Chinese smartphone maker Xiaomi clocked sales of over 100 million smartphones in India as of August 2019, 5 years since it started operations, making it the first company to achieve the mark in the market ahead of competitors that started at the same time. According to the China Federation of Logistics and Purchasing, global manufacturing purchasing managers index fell by 0.4 percentage points to 49.3% in August, indicating sluggish global economic growth. International Air Transport Association announces slowing global passenger demand growth for July. Total revenue passenger kilometers rose 3.6% compared to the same month in 2018. This was down from 5.1% annual growth recorded in June. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson renews call for early elections, says he would rather be dead in a ditch than delay the country's departure from the EU due on 31st October. Britain's opposition has said it will not back a general election until a bill that would force the government to request a Brexit delay passes the upper house of Parliament and becomes law, something that could happen on the 9th of September. US Vice President Mike Pence says Britain should take no lectures on how to conduct its affairs during a visit to London as the crisis over the country's exit from the European Union intensifies. Britain's former Prime Minister John Major says British Prime Minister Boris Johnson should fire Dominic Cummings, advisor behind his high-stakes Brexit strategy that resulted in a dramatic purge of his own lawmakers this week. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's younger brother Joe says it was time to move on following his announcement that he would resign as a junior minister and lawmaker. Joe Johnson cited a conflict between family loyalty and national interest in his surprise resignation. In a televised speech, Carrie Lam elaborates on 4 actions the HK SAR government will take, including formally withdrawing the proposed amendments to the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance and the Mutual Legal Assistance in Criminal Matters Ordinance. After unleashing its fury in the Bahamas, Hurricane Dorian makes its way to the South Carolina coast with strong winds and driving rain. Authorities have ordered around 2.2 million people living near the coast to evacuate their homes and shift to safer places. And also more than 185,000 homes and businesses were hit with power outage. The death toll from Hurricane Dorian has risen to 30 in the Bahamas, although rescue operations are still in progress. An international relief fund has also been set up to help the stunned residents. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang holds a ceremony to welcome German Chancellor Angela Merkel outside Great Hall of the People. Merkel is paying an official visit to China at the invitation of Li, her 12th trip to China as German Chancellor. Sudan's Prime Minister announces formation of first government since overthrow of long-time ruler Omar Hassan al-Bashir in April. Government was formed as part of a 3-year power-sharing deal signed last month between the military and civilian parties and protest groups. Thousands of Yemenis marched in Aden in support of the United Arab Emirates, which assists separatists who seized the southern city from the Saudi-backed government in a power struggle that has opened a new front in Yemen's war. Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro sparks a friction with regional ally Chile after he accuses its former leader Michelle Bachelet of meddling in his country's affairs by criticizing rising police violence and erosions of democracy. UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet criticizes a shrinking of civic and democratic space in recent months, attacks against human rights and land defenders and indigenous communities amid a rise in forest fires in the Amazon of Brazil. United Nations says it was trying to convince North Korea not to cut the number of international aid staff deployed by the world body to carry out critical food, nutrition and health work in the Asian country. President Vladimir Putin says trade relations between Russia and India have been developing faster than predicted. Putin was speaking at the sidelines of the Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok, where he met with Chinese Vice Premier Hu Chunhua. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe says he expected to have open exchange of opinions with Russian President Putin on a peace treaty between the two countries. Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad meets with Russian President Putin on sidelines of Eastern Economic Forum held in Vladivostok, says his country is interested in potential investments from Russia as well as access to Russian technology in space industry. Zimbabwe's founding leader Robert Mugabe dies in Singapore, aged 95. Mugabe had been battling ill health and President Emerson had held a cabinet meeting 2 weeks ago that doctors had discontinued treatment. Clashes broke out between police and protesters who marched in Peru in support of the government's proposal to advance general elections by 2020 amid a continuing confrontation between President Martin Vizcarra and the Congress of Opposition majority. Wildfires rage in Galicia, northern Spain for a second day, although no fatalities have been reported at the moment. 13 helicopters and 4 firefighting planes are already working on extinguishing the blaze. China and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea pledged to further promote friendly cooperation between the two countries. This year marks the 70th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between China and DPRK. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Geng Shuang says government had approved appointment of Dominic Barton as the Canada ambassador to China and hoped he would play a positive role in getting China-Canada relations back on track. Guatemalan government declares state of siege in 5 departments in northeast of the country to regain control after 3 Marines lost their lives after a confrontation with suspected drug traffickers. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa condemns recent wave of deadly riots and xenophobic attacks across the Gauteng province. Speaking in a televised address, Ramaphosa says there was no excuse for the attacks on the homes and businesses of foreign nationals. United States approves $400 million highway investment in Argentina as President Donald Trump's eldest daughter Ivanka Trump visits the South American nation on a wider tour of the region. Donald Trump takes time off from hurricane preparations to award U.S. Presidential Medal of Freedom to basketball great Jerry West at the White House. Two-time NBA Executive of the Year, West was part of front office for 8 NBA title-winning teams. In an attempt to raise the morale of the players, Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju announces government has decided to give reward money to athletes who make it great in international events as soon as possible. Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Kiren Rijiju confirms Ishrat Akhtar, resident of Baramulla in the Kashmir Valley, will be representing India at the Asia Oceania Wheelchair Basketball Championship. Serena Williams is one step away from a 24th Grand Slam singles title as she defeats Elina Svitolina 6-3, 6-1 in the semi-finals. Canadian teenager Bianca Andreescu claims her spot alongside Serena Williams in 2019 US Open final with 7-6, 7-5 victory over Switzerland's Belinda Bencic. The 19-year-old Canadian becomes first teenager to reach the US Open final since 2009 and first player to reach the final on a US Open debut since 1997. Australia pushes England to the brink once again. By the end of second day of the fourth test of the Ashes series, England scores 23 runs in first innings, losing 1 wicket. Early Australia declares first innings, scoring 497 runs at the loss of 8 wickets. Steve Smith speaks from where he left at Lord's as he strikes his third double century against England at Old Trafford. Steve marked his return to international cricket with a double century on the second day of the fourth Ashes test against England. Steve Smith plays brilliant innings, becomes second Australian cricketer to score 500 runs in consecutive Ashes in England. Before Smith, only Alan Border had amassed 500 plus runs consecutively. Oman defeats India 2-1 in FIFA World Cup Asian qualifiers played at Indira Gandhi Athletic Stadium in Guwahati. In 24 minutes, Sunil Chhetri puts India in the lead, but Oman bounces back in last moments of the match with Al Mundhar scoring both goals with a spectacular strike. North Korea defeats Lebanon 2-0 in FIFA World Cup Qatar 2020 qualifier round 2 in Pyongyang. According to FIFA, the two countries which belong to Group H will have second match on 19th of November. Thailand women make history qualifying for their maiden Women's T20 World Cup to be played in Australia next year. They did so with an emphatic 8-wicket win, chasing 68 against Papua New Guinea in Dundee, where Thailand dominated the game with an all-round display that saw a frugal bowling performance, 2 run-outs and a convincing batting show. Newly appointed 20-year-old Afghanistan captain Rashid Khan becomes the youngest ever Test skipper when he showed up for the toss before the one-off test against Bangladesh in Chattogram. Australia forward David Pocock confirms he will play no more Test rugby after taking part in his third Rugby World Cup for the Wallabies in Japan. 31-year-old flanker had already made it clear in May that he would not be seeking a new contract with Rugby Australia. Bob Carter named coach of New Zealand women's team with contract that will take him up to the end of 2021 Women's World Cup on home soil. Costa Rica's soccer coach Gustavo Matosas announces his resignation, saying he was bored and felt as if he was on vacation as the players did not have time to train with him. Union Minister Prahlad Patel says Ministry of Culture is preparing a list of monuments in Leh and Kargil to be preserved by Archaeological Survey of India and given protected status. Region presently has 14 protected sites, 12 in Ladakh and 2 in Kargil. Thousands, including monks, nuns, foreign followers from across the globe gathered to take part in teaching session of spiritual leader Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama spoke about the Four Noble Truths. Germans celebrated 70 years of the currywurst, a Berlin specialty of sliced sausage smothered in curry powder and ketchup, as they celebrated its National Day. Czech pregnant woman who had suffered a severe stroke in April declared brain dead as soon as she reached hospital. But against all odds, a healthy baby girl was born by caesarean section, as told by Brno's University Hospital on Wednesday. Doctors at the hospital said that for 117 days, the baby had been kept alive in the womb. North Korea national fashion event held in Pyongyang. Models wearing Korean traditional dress hanbok who were seen walking down runway at Central Youth Hall. According to press release by Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, the university have developed a diagnostic test which can detect signs of Zika infection in serum samples within 12 weeks of infection. Zika virus is a deadly virus caused by virus transmitted primarily by Aedes mosquitoes. Its symptoms generally include mild fever, muscle and joint pain, and headache. New video animation featuring two white blood cells in love was released to mark what would have been Freddie Mercury's 73rd birthday and to raise awareness on AIDS. The British singer and songwriter of the rock band Queen died in 1991 due to complications from AIDS. Missionaries of Charity, the global order of nuns founded by Saint Teresa, marked the 22nd death anniversary of Nobel Peace Laureate with prayers. Nuns and followers of Saint Teresa gathered around her tomb early in the morning as they took part in a mass prayer service and sang hymns. The passionate artistic world of Mexican artists Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera take center stage at a new exhibition set to open at Mexico City's Dolores Olmedo Museum to mark the 25th anniversary of the art gallery. High Commissioner of India to Canada Vikas Swarup inaugurates India Pavilion at 44th Toronto International Film Festival 2019. Speaking on the occasion, Vikas Swarup says this will provide a platform to showcase Indian cinema in overseas market and facilitate new business opportunities. Around 60 eminent personalities from the filmmaking sector and the film festival participate in inauguration ceremony. Discussions held on a wide range of topics, including initiatives undertaken by the government related to single window clearance for filming in India. At the ceremony, a number of them expressed their keenness to come to Golden Jubilee of IFFI Goa as cine appreciators and participants for the technical sessions to be held at the festival. The Golden Jubilee edition of the International Film Festival of India will be held in Goa from 20th to 28th November this year. The Toronto International Film Festival opened on a decidedly Canadian note on Thursday with a documentary about influential rockers, the band, kicking off 10 days of movies vying for attention in the upcoming Hollywood Awards season. Bollywood's much-awaited award ceremony, International Indian Film Academy, will be held in Mumbai from 16 to 18 September. The 20th edition of the Nexa IIFA Awards will be hosted by the dynamic duo Arjun Kapoor and Ayushmann Khurrana. Trailer of new thriller series The Family Man starring Manoj Vajpayee released is out. Directed by Raj Nidimoru, and Krishna DK series will hit Amazon Prime on the 20th of September. Filmmaker Karan Johar set to launch newcomer Lakshya in Bollywood with his upcoming production Dostana 2. Lakshya joins Kartik Aaryan and Janhvi Kapoor in much-awaited sequel to the 2008 blockbuster Dostana. The trailer of P Se Pyar F Se Farar has finally hit the internet. Directed by Manoj Tiwari, the film features Jimmy Shergill, Girish Kulkarni and Kumud Mishra. Film is penned by Vishal Vijay Kumar and will hit the big screen on the 18th of October. The much-awaited trailer of Pal Pal Dil Ke Paas released on Thursday, starring Karan Deol and Sahir Bamba. The film will screen on 20th of September. Film War releases its new song Ghungru featuring Hrithik Roshan and Vani Kapoor, shot in exquisite locations. The song is sung by Arijit Singh and Shilpa Rao and is set to release on the 2nd of October. Hard-hitting social drama Article 15 that threw light on the reality of caste discrimination in the country will be screened again in Punjab villages. Directed by Anubhav Sinha, the film starred Ayushmann Khurrana. 10-time Grammy-nominated rapper Nicki Minaj just announces her plans to retire. Many of Minaj's fans and fellow musicians shocked by the decision. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds taking a stand against separating migrant children from their families at the US-Mexico border. Couple are to donate $2 million to two different organizations focused on protecting the rights of migrant children. Actor Kevin James will headline Netflix's new comedy series The Crew. Sitcom is set in a NASCAR garage and features James as a crew chief who passes the team off to his daughter, finds himself at odds with a tech-reliant millennial. Actor-comedian Leslie Jones bids adieu to late-night sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live. In a Twitter thread, 51-year-old actor confirms she is leaving the show and will not be appearing in its upcoming 45th season. Ed Sheeran, Justin Bieber and Lil Nas X topped the UK charts this summer with the most popular tracks. Top of the list compiled in the beginning of June till end of August were Sheeran and Bieber's I Don't Care. Model Kate Moss picks up Style Icon Prize at Daily Front Row's annual Fashion Media Awards in New York. This is the 7th year the fashion publication has celebrated leaders in the fashion industry in various categories. In honor of the 25th anniversary of the Friends series premiere, an immersive pop-up experience debuts in New York City on Saturday. Fans will get to relive a few of the show's most iconic episodes. And with that, we wind up this edition of Express News. We'll be back again next week with the top stories of the hour. Namaskar.